All right, so this is round 4. I'm playing Zurab Javakhadze. So he's a very strong international master, basically grandmaster. I think his live rating is like 2490. And I think he has the norms. I think he just needs a rating. And he's also one of my homies. So one thing I will say about playing friends is you never want to, but at the same time, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because you can really have a conversation about it later. You guys, I can joke about it. Like after this game, I mean, honestly, one of my not great games from the tournament. We joked about it the whole tournament. So it doesn't have to be like really serious and personal. Because I think if you enjoy chess, I mean, you can still be competitive, but it's still like be okay with losing. Because a lot of it is like, let's talk about the game. Let me understand. So I'm not like super adverse to it. I would definitely prefer not to play my friends, but I think it's okay. So obviously another D4, and I think he's D4 E4 player, and I'm just like, ugh, why is everyone playing D4 against me? Like the day before this tournament, I really prepped the French. I prepped it hard. I prepped everything. Like I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I didn't prep the Stonewall Dutch, and I kept getting it. So I mean, I'm not like too unhappy because I did get a good win with it before, but I know he's gonna look at that game and decide what to do. And we did talk after, and he did look at my game against Shabalov, and he was like, "All right, I saw this. Let me do something else." So we started the same. Now you know B3. We go Queen E7 to stop the bishop from coming here. I castle Queen C2, and this is where I guess it's a little bit different. This is a variation, obviously, and a pretty popular one. I think the idea is they want to go F3 E4. That's always what I have a very, very strong eye for. I'm making sure this doesn't happen. Because at the right time, if white does go F3 E4, you can just get blown off the board. And that's happened to me before. So I wanted to make sure I avoided that at all costs. So I saw bishop D7. Okay, another thing with the bishop swing is the bishop swing works really well against B3. Because if there's no B3, let's say, for example, he just goes like, let's say like knight C3, castle, rook E1, and I go bishop D7. Queen B3 is always really annoying because I don't want to go queen B6. And I don't want to go B6 because now my bishop's not over here. It's going to be over here. And now that makes some holes on the queen side. So one read that I always look for is if they go B3, I think the bishop swing is always a little bit more money. So knight D3, and here I think he's planning bishop to F4. And remember, the idea is to trade off the dark square bishop for my dark square bishop without making a concession. So one more thing I want to show you guys is if they go bishop F4 here, I'm happy to take. Because now he has double pawns and his king's kind of weak. So he does trade off the dark square bishop, which I don't want, but he's made double pawns and opened up his king. So if you can get something for what they're trying to do, then it's not as bad. I mean, you have to weigh the pros and cons, but it's a way easier decision than just giving up like this. And the other problem with bishop F4 here is a common idea with bishop F4, trying to trade off like this, is you can just go bishop E7 and then try to prepare G5. But with B3, he's forced me to go queen E7, and now I stop bishop A3, but now my bishop can't retreat to E7 if he goes bishop F4. So these are all things I'm thinking about, and honestly, like I keep preaching this, as you play an opening more and more, you're going to learn the little nuances of it, and you're going to be able to put together a cleaner and a better game, because now you really know what they're trying to do. And all these things I didn't know about like a year ago when I played the Stonewall Dutch. And this is why I'm kind of happy, or actually I'm very happy that I stuck to my openings and my like intuition and my calls this tournament. And I mean, it kind of paid off. So knight H5, I'm trying to stop knight F4. I'm trying to stop bishop F4, and I'm trying to work F4. Like if you saw round 2 against Shabalov, I remember F4 was really strong. So knight D2, and I go bishop E8, knight F3, and here's when he starts coming with knight E5 and knight F4, and I was like, all right, now's the time. Let me go F4. I mean, I think knight D7 would have been okay. Let me put the engine on again and see. I mean, once again, I think the engine, very, very big hater on the Stonewall Dutch. But I think knight D7 was the way to go, especially if A4 is the next move. I'm not worried about that at all. And then F4 or G5 is always better because I have more pieces in. But I decided to go F4 now, and this is a little bit of wind tilt, as Eugene would call it, where I'm just, it worked last time. I don't even care. I know it's going to work again because I'm just the best in the world. And it's just the stupidest thing to do. Knight E5. And here I'm just like, yeah, he could take the pawn on F4. I don't care. I'll just checkmate him. That's what I did last time. So I go knight D7. And the second I go knight D7, I see Zura's eyebrows go up and down like, what is this? No way. This is not true. And the more I look at it, I'm like, what have I done? Now I got to claw my way back. And Stonewall Dutch is one of those openings where once you're down in the dumps, you ain't coming back, buddy. is very, very hard, because just there's so much like tension in the middle. If you lose the tension, then he just controls everything. So G takes F4. I go Queen H4. I mean, I'm trying to do something, but I think even here the way to play is to slow play it. Just King H8, Rook G8, try to go G5. But here I'm on skates for a little bit. I go Queen H4. He just goes E3, and I have the most solid center in the world. Basically, he's playing the Stonewall Dutch. He's got everything I wanted, and I'm over here just without an F pawn. Stupidly, I might add. And okay, so we make some moves, and this is where I started thinking. And my round 3 game, I talked to my friends about it, and what really was in my head was I got like a winning position against him, and I didn't flip the switch to think, okay, let me try to draw this. Because I think if I had at some point realized, okay, if I'm just trying to draw this, I can just play simple chess. But instead, if you remember from the last round, I started kind of getting crazy and just not doing anything. So here, my goal focus was I need to just get some pieces out of the board. Remember, I'm very cramped. Let me simplify. If I can get to an endgame, maybe I have chances to hold. So I go here, I go Rook D8, just get my pieces in, take, Knight D7. I'm trying to trade off, and I come up with this really cool idea, B5. Now, B5 is not a good move, but it's a tricky move. Because now, I mean, he's kind of in cruise control right now. He's like, okay, I'm easily winning. Like, I can do anything. And then these pawns are just going to come like the Hun army. So take, and I go C5. This is what he missed. Because with C5, these 4 pawns now become only C2. Once he takes here, I'll take this guy. This pawn will be very weak. And even these pawns are kind of weak. They're not as strong because they lost their support. It's like I broke a pack of wolves into 2. And it's way easier to deal with 1/2 and 1/2 than the whole pack. So Bishop H3, and I'm like, okay, even better. Let me just simplify. So this, he comes back. I take on B5, and actually here what's kind of cool is I actually have some winning chances. Like if someone played Bishop F2, this pawn is actually kind of like going all the way, and he's got problems. And then F3 is soft too. But I mean, he's a strong player. I think he recuperated really well. Bishop D2, take on B5, Rook F2. And once again, I'm in trading mode. I go Bishop D7, D3. I think I should have gone Bishop D7 because I really underestimated this idea of Rook G2 here. And now I'm like, wow, these guys are really coming to get me. And these pawns are still dangerous. If you can go F4, F5 and move this bishop, I'm probably cooked. So here's where I thought Bishop D7 is better because it just forces the trade, and I can always go D3. But I go Bishop C5 check here. And the reason I didn't want to go Bishop D7 here is there was a lot of ideas with E6. And if I take, I can't take back because it's made on G7. But I put together, if I go Bishop D4, hitting A1, he moves his rook, and now I go Bishop D7. Now E6 doesn't work because the bishop on D4 guards G7. So kind of a cool move order thing where obviously like I had all the right ideas. You just got to put it all together. And that's kind of what like high level chess is. When you have like different things you got to work out, it's like a puzzle. Then you find the right order, the right way, the right direction to put everything, and it all kind of works out. Obviously here I'm still kind of down a lot, but I mean I think he's starting to think here. I'm at least feeling better morally, or with better morale, not morally. I mean I did feel like a good person at this point, but that has nothing to do with it. Rook C7, take, and now this was really close to working. Bishop C3, but he has Rook C1, and the real sad part is he can go Rook D6. Because if he has to go here, if I can get some pawn, okay, actually just D2 wins. But if I can get isolated double pawns, that would be fantastic. But here I go Rook C2, and another cool idea is a Rook G2. I had all these Rook takes, take, and here plans, and then this I could draw for sure, like take, and then take, and then these pawns are fallen. It's only up a pawn, and they're all weak. This would have been a good comeback, and I think against like a weaker player, I would have these chances to kind of come back. But Zurab is very strong, and he kind of saw through all of it. And then here, I mean, it's still like you got to calculate. And this I think was once he made this move, I think he was really in the driver's seat. He played Bishop C3, and I missed this idea. I mean, I'm just trying to like be scrappy and find ways to make it complicated for him. But Bishop C3, and now if I take, these pawns are just way too strong. He's gonna push, and it's all dark squares. So this would be just game over. I mean, obviously I don't take. I go Rook F4, and I think there might have been a slight error in this score sheet because after Here I can go rook takes bishop, and maybe I did miss this. I was scared about these pawns, but this is actually like not the easiest in the world. This bishop is pretty anchored in, and I mean, it's not great for black, but this would have been holdable. But I'm also very low on time here. As you can see, like whenever I'm low on time, it's because I had a very tough position. But I think I play good and okay positions very well, because I'll play fast. Generally, I won't tank too much, and I'll just keep a good pace and keep good threats. So f7, and then this was just game over. So a really, I mean, I think it's a wake-up call game, because at this point now I'm 2 out of 4 instead of 2 out of 2. And now it's like, okay, if I lose another game, no norm, no nothing, no money, no anything. So now the pressure's on, and I felt actually kind of good after this game because I was able to make it a game. Like, I was getting smashed, like absolutely smashed 20 moves earlier. Like, he's +4, he's got everything, he's caught up on time after being down a lot. Like, I was like, I could have resigned that position. He could probably have won like 3 or 4 moves if he played a little bit more accurately. But I mean, I got to move 48. I got like not maybe some winning chances, but more just like holding chances, just making it hard for him. And it feels good against like a good player in a bad position if you can survive just to another level. You get some confidence out of it, and I wasn't happy about the loss, but I did feel like, okay, I can do this. Like, especially I just almost held with black again. I mean, the Stone Dutch did get cracked, which kind of got in my head a little bit, but all I had to do was win the next game, and I was back in it. So that was round 4. On to round 5.